Welcome to Celestial Throne Signal, where our content is about revealing what is hidden in plain sight from everything we see: entertainment, technology, art and history. This is all for theoretical educational purposes, and footages and images are fully credited to its respective owners. Today we are going to talk about the witchcraft of 11. A deep dive into ritual magic in Stranger Things. What if I told you that Stranger Things isn't science fiction, it's spellcraft? That behind the blood, the portals, and the experiments, lies a blueprint for ancient magic hidden in plain sight. Because the girl we call 11? She's not just psychokinetic, she's practicing rituals as old as time. The tank? It's not a sensory deprivation tool, it's a scrying pool. The nosebleed? A blood offering. The void? A ritual space between worlds. And every time she raises her hand, palm open toward evil, she's invoking an ancient protective symbol used for thousands of years. The Hamsa, hidden ritual magic of 11. A spellbound story of secret covens, blood rites, psychic warfare, and apotropaic symbols designed to ward off evil, that Stranger Things has been showing us since day one. You're watching The Witchcraft of 11, a deep dive into ritual magic hidden in Stranger Things. 2. The Hand of Fatima, 11's protective gesture. Let's start with the one gesture you've seen 11 do over and over again. Her arm extends, fingers spread, palm facing out toward a threat. This isn't just dramatic acting, this is ritual symbolism. This exact motion mirrors the Hamsa, also known as the Hand of Fatima, or the Hand of Miriam, an apotropaic talisman found across cultures, from Asian and Middle Eastern Islamic traditions to Kabbalistic Judaism. The Hamsa is a magical hand used to repel the evil eye, a protective gesture that wards off spiritual harm. It's both a symbol and a spell. And 11? She does this over and over, not randomly, but at key narrative moments where she must protect herself or others from evil. Apotropaic magic in action. In magical terms, apotropaic magic is used to avert harm or evil influences. A defensive ritual. It's not meant to kill or attack, it's meant to block, bind, and protect. Every time 11 holds up her hand, she's casting a symbolic shield. The bleeding nose? That's the offering. The scream? The emotional surge needed for intent. The hand? The seal, the boundary between self and darkness. Season 2, the gate closing, the Hamsa in combat. In the Season 2 finale, 11 faces the pulsing interdimensional gate in the Hawkins lab basement. Surrounded by chaos, she floats upward, her hand outstretched, fingers splayed wide, invoking the Hamsa without ever saying a word. Blood streams from her nose, she screams. Her body shakes, but her hand never wavers. It acts like a protective seal, pressing back the demonic energy trying to break through. She doesn't destroy the gate with brute force, she binds it, closes it, seals it away. That is apotropaic magic. Season 3, Starcourt Mall. In Season 3, 11 uses this same hand gesture during her battle against the Mind Flayer in the Starcourt Mall. Even when injured, infected with a psychic parasite, physically weakened, she raises her hand, invoking that invisible shield. The use of the open palm becomes instinctual, a ritual she's learned by repetition, even if no one in the show calls it what it is. A ward, a binding, a banishing. Season 4, facing Vecna. By Season 4, the ritual has evolved. When 11 confronts Vecna, she enters the astral plane, the void, and again, she raises her hand in the same Hamsa pose, but this time, it's different. She's not just pushing something away, she's channeling intent, anger, pain, protection, love, fury. This is the evil eye in full force. In the ancient world, the evil eye wasn't just something you protected against, it was a weaponized glare, a stare of judgment and spiritual fire. 11 uses the magical hand of defense to unleash internal energy. Her anger becomes righteous protection. Her pain becomes power. Repetition is ritual. These gestures aren't one-offs. Across all 4 seasons, we see 11 raise her hand to block evil, use blood as an energy conductor, enter ritual space, the void, channel emotion as spellwork, and it always starts the same way. A hand, raised and open, like a symbol etched into the air. Her rage is the invocation. 3. The lab is a temple. It's easy to think of Hawkins' lab as just a government facility, but take a closer look, and it begins to resemble something far older. The lab isn't just a place of science. It's a ritual space, a controlled environment designed for psychic awakening, blood sacrifice, sensory deprivation, and spiritual initiation. The tank is a scrying pool. Let's start with the sensory deprivation tank. Officially, it's meant to isolate sensory input, a scientific experiment. But symbolically, it's ancient, across magical traditions. Isolation in water or darkness is a form of ritual incubation, the kind used by oracles, mystics, and witches for centuries. Greek oracles would descend into caves. Shamans entered trance states in darkness. In Egypt, initiates of Isis underwent rituals in underground water chambers. And 11? She's submerged in water, blindfolded, entering a liminal plane. This is modern scrying. Blood is offering, and then there's the blood. Every time 11 uses her powers to their fullest, her nose bleeds. We're told it's just a physical side effect, strain on the brain. But symbolically, it's a blood offering. A sacrifice. In witchcraft traditions, blood is power. It binds the spell. Blood is not wasted. It seals intent, marks boundaries, and activates rituals. 11's blood is the price of magic. She doesn't need candles or circles. Symbols hidden in the setting. Look again at the lab itself. She is numbered, not named. She is dressed in white. The hallways are sterile, symmetrical, like ritual. Corridors, not unlike the temples of initiation described in Freemasonic or Rosicrucian literature. Dr. Brenner, Papa, acts not just as a scientist, but as a ritual guide, forcing her through psychic trials, unlocking hidden power. And when she enters the void, pitch black, boundless space, she crosses the threshold into the astral realm. The void is a ritual space. 11's psychic void isn't just an aesthetic or artistic choice, it's a magical dimension. Black magic traditions speak of the liminal realm, a place between worlds where thoughts become form, and spirits speak. The void is where she contacts other minds, travels through space, and spies on enemies. This is not science, it's clairvoyance, astral projection, and ritual sight. Old techniques, dressed in modern fiction. 4. Ritual through bloodletting, anger, and psychic warding. 11 doesn't just use magic. She feels it. Through fury, her powers aren't accessed through calm meditation or controlled breathing. They're summoned through intense emotional overload, anger, fear, grief. This isn't accidental. It's part of a long tradition of ritual. Anger is power. Bloodletting is power in magical history. Blood has always been one of the most potent ingredients in any spell. Cultures across the globe have practiced ritual bloodletting, not to harm, but to ignite supernatural access. From medieval necromancy, blood have always served as offerings to open portals, access the divine, or unlock hidden vision. 11 bleeds every time she uses her magic. But it's not portrayed as loss, it's portrayed as activation. Anger as spellcraft. One of the most striking patterns in Stranger Things is how 11's magic is strongest when she is angry. When she screams, slams doors with her mind, or throws enemies across rooms, she's not just reacting. She's casting through rage. Anger is more than emotion here. It becomes intent. And in occult magic, intent is everything. It's how you program the energy of a spell. Turning the energy of threat back onto the attacker. 11 isn't losing control. She's focusing through pain. Communication through light. The lighting ritual in Season 1. While 11 is trapped in the lab and Will is stuck in the Upside Down, her friends discover that light can be used to communicate across realms. The moment when Joyce watches the lights, lamps and Christmas lights flicker, it isn't just science fiction. It's ritual channeling through flame and current. In real-world spirit communication, especially in early spiritualist and occult practices, flickering light, candles, and chandeliers were used to signal the presence of spirits. The chandelier becomes a ritual tool, a channel, a conduit. And what activates it? Emotion, connection, intent. 11 or even Vecna may not be in the room, but the psychic current she taps into, and the trauma both she and Will experience, fuel the bridge. Light, as medium. Electricity as carrier of psychic energy. Repeating symbols. Pain plus monsters. She walks the line between sacrifice and sorcery, protection and possession. 5. Names, numbers, and the witchcraft of identity. Why is she called 11? Not Jane, not Subject 011. Just 11, etched into her skin like a brand. At first glance, it's just a code. A dehumanizing label from a government experiment. But numbers in magic are never just numbers. In occult tradition, names and numbers are tools of power, used to bind, define, and even control an identity. The esoteric power of numbers in magical systems like numerology, Kabbalah, and ritual naming traditions. Numbers correspond to energies, spirits, or cosmic principles. The number 11 is especially significant. It's considered a master number in numerology. One associated with psychic intuition, spiritual insight, hidden knowledge, the bridge between realms. In some esoteric circles, 11 is the gate number, a symbol of duality merging into unity, like two pillars forming a doorway. 11 is the threshold. The one who can cross between worlds, binding identity through numbers. Ancient magical grimoires, like the Lemegeton or Key of Solomon, teach that to name something is to control it. That's why demons are summoned by name. Why magical sigils are drawn from letters. Why sacred texts encode divine names with numbers. And Stranger Things shows us this clearly. 11's name is stripped. Her number becomes her new sigil, her magical brand. It's tattooed onto her skin, placed over her identity, turning her into a vessel. Her name isn't just Jane. Her name is power, but also control, assigned by those who wish to wield her. Magical rebirth through naming. But as the show progresses, something changes. Her friends start calling her L, short, casual, human? Nothing less than casual and short, but El, meaning God in Hebrew. A new identity begins to form. This is crucial. Because in ritual magic, names can bind, but they can also liberate. Taking a new name is an act of rebirth, a magical practice. Dating back ancient times in initiatory witchcraft covens, and even modern occult circles. El becomes her chosen name, short for 11, yes, but also linked to the Hebrew El, meaning God or divine power. Coincidence or intentional layering? 6. The Coven Code, or the children part of a ritual working. Now we dive into the next major chapter, where the scope expands from just 11 to the entire group around her. 11 might be the power source, but every spell needs a circle. Magic isn't always solitary. In most traditions, ritual workings require a group. A coven, a ring of participants, each with a role, a resonance, a purpose. So if 11 is casting the spells, who, or what, are her friends? Coven roles in traditional witchcraft. In Wiccan and ceremonial circles, a full coven typically includes a high priestess, the channeler, a protector or warrior, the guardian, a scribe or lore keeper, the historian, a seer or sensitive, the empath, and a fool or trickster, who disrupts. Energy to test the circle. Stranger Things has these archetypes in the party. 11 equals the high priestess. Mike equals the scribe, her verbal anchor. He's the one who names her, loves her, centers her. Lucas equals the guardian, always the first to challenge danger, grounded in reality. Will equals the seer, sensitive, attuned to the other side. Dustin equals the trickster, clever, eccentric, disrupts convention but often solves the puzzle. It's subtle, but ritual structure doesn't have to be obvious, it just has to be present. Dungeons and Dragons as ritual map. The kids' love of Dungeons and Dragons isn't just a narrative device. It's a meta sigil, a story they use to shape reality. When they give names to monsters like the Demogorgon, the Mind Flayer, or Vecna, they are doing what magicians do in chaos magic, recasting reality through metaphor. And it works. The monsters obey the names the kids give them. The D&D map becomes a spellbook. The dice rolls mimic fate. The game is the ritual. Their circle, a magical construct. Psychic symbiosis. The circle enhances the spell. 11 may hold the power, but her friends anchor her. Mike keeps her emotionally tethered. Will senses danger and perceive the upside down before anyone else. Lucas and Dustin act as ritual counterbalances, pulling her back from the brink. This isn't just friendship. It's sympathetic magic, the idea that emotions, proximity, and intention create psychic resonance. They amplify her spellwork without knowing they're doing it. In fact, when 11 is isolated, cut off from the group, her powers weaken. She becomes unstable, vulnerable. But when she's inside the circle, she's unstoppable. Circle casting in season finales. Notice how almost every season finale ends with the group assembled, the monster named, a ritual showdown between realms. That's not just good storytelling. That's ritual structure. And in those final battles, it's always 11 at the center, casting with body and soul, but surrounded by the energy of the circle. Point 7. Unintentional spellcasting. These kids aren't just smart. They're accidentally enacting occult rituals, again and again. Drawing maps like sigils, channeling voices from the walls, speaking with the past through light and memory, turning a child's toy into a ritual communication tool. They don't call it magic, but the rules match exactly. These scenes prove it. The ritual isn't always fire and candles. Sometimes, it's a ritual space, a vision in a living room, and a group of kids forming a circle of unintentional magic. The final spell. Stranger Things as a ritual for the viewer. Here's the real twist. Stranger Things is not just a story about ritual. It is a ritual, one you, the viewer, have participated in. Through shared fear, collective memory, channeled belief in 11's power, you've been drawn into a spell of protection, a myth of psychic awakening. 11 is the focus point, the glyph, the Hamsa, the witch, the gate, but you are the final circle. 8. The mirror world, the upside down as a cult realm. The upside down isn't just a place. It's a spiritual dimension, a shadow of our world, inverted and corrupted. But in occult philosophy, this concept isn't new. The idea of a mirror realm, a dark astral double, appears in magic systems from the Kabbalah to the Hermetic tradition, and even in Gnostic and shamanic worldviews. The upside down is more than an alternate universe, it's a representation of the Qliphoth, the dark tree of spiritual shells, the tree of life versus the tree of death. In Jewish mysticism, the tree of life represents divine order, 10 Sephiroth, or emanations of light. But behind it exists a shadow tree, the Qliphoth, a realm of distortion, impurity, and spiritual imbalance. The Qliphoth is not hell. It's the inverse, a mirror realm, close to our own, but broken. Dead vines strangling every surface. Familiar streets frozen in time. A world beneath our own, but the opposite. The upside down is the Qliphoth. Visualized. Magical mirror worlds across cultures. The idea of a second, hidden world appears across magical traditions. In shamanism, it's the lower world, entered through trance or ritual. In Hermeticism, it's the astral plane, malleable, mind-shaped. Fairy lore, it's the realm behind the veil, only visible to those touched by otherworldly power. 11 doesn't just reach into it, she tears it open. That's a high-level magical act. In ceremonial magic, that would be equivalent to crossing the veil or opening the abyss. Psychic access. Who can enter the realm? Not everyone can reach the upside down. Will is taken, but he senses it even afterward. Joyce hears him through the walls. 11 opens gates at will. Why them? Because in magical theory, only those who have experienced trauma, transformation, or psychic sensitivity * can pierce the veil. The veil between worlds is thin, but it only opens to those energetically attuned. That's why the government tried so hard to harness 11. She's a natural gatekeeper, gates as ritual portals. In Season 2, when 11 closes the massive gate to the upside down, it's one of the most visibly magical moments in the series. Arms raised, eyes closed, screaming with rage and pain. Blood runs down her face, but it's not just power, it's ritual sealing, a banishment spell. And the gesture she uses, her hand raised outward, is not random. 9. The hand of power. The Hamsa, apotropaic magic, and the evil eye. How 11's signature hand gesture mirrors the Hamsa or hand of Fatima. The occult history of using the open palm to deflect spirits. How 11 weaponizes this ancient symbol to banish evil, especially in Season 2's gate scene. It's one of 11's signature moves. She raises her hand. Fingers spread. Palm open. Blood trickling from her nose. Eyes focused. And something breaks, a monster, a machine, a barrier between worlds. To the casual viewer, it's just telekinesis, but to an occultist? That hand is instantly recognizable. It's the Hamsa, the hand of Fatima, the hand of Miriam, the eye in the palm. A symbol older than Christianity, older than Islam. A universal warding sign used to banish evil and protect the self. The Hamsa, an ancient apotropaic symbol. The Hamsa hand appears in ancient Mesopotamia, the Middle East, and across Mediterranean cultures. It features an open palm, upright, sometimes with an eye in its center used to repel the evil eye, block spiritual attack, and project inner power outward. Things as a ritual for the viewer. Here's the real twist. Stranger Things is not just a story about ritual. It is a ritual, one you, the viewer, have participated in. Through shared fear, collective memory, channeled belief in 11's power, you've been drawn into a spell of protection, a myth of psychic awakening. 11 is the focus point, the glyph, the Hamsa, the witch, the gate, but you are the final circle. 9. The mirror world, the upside down as a cult realm. The upside down isn't just a place. It's a spiritual dimension, a shadow of our world, inverted and corrupted. But in occult philosophy, this concept isn't new. The idea of a mirror realm, a dark astral double, appears in magic systems from the Kabbalah to the Hermetic tradition, and even in Gnostic and shamanic worldviews. The upside down is more than an alternate universe, it's a representation of the Qliphoth, the dark tree of spiritual shells, the tree of life versus the tree of death. In Jewish mysticism, the tree of life represents divine order, 10 Sephiroth, or emanations of light. But behind it exists a shadow tree, the Qliphoth, a realm of distortion, impurity, and spiritual imbalance. The Qliphoth is not hell. It's the inverse, a mirror realm, close to our own, but broken. Dead vines strangling every surface. Familiar streets frozen in time. A world beneath our own, but the opposite. The upside down is the Qliphoth. Visualized. Magical mirror worlds across cultures. The idea of a second, hidden world appears across magical traditions. In shamanism, it's the lower world, entered through trance or ritual. In Hermeticism, it's the astral plane, malleable, mind-shaped. Fairy lore, it's the realm behind the veil, only visible to those touched by otherworldly power. 11 doesn't just reach into it, she tears it open. That's a high-level magical act. In ceremonial magic, that would be equivalent to crossing the veil or opening the abyss. Psychic access. Who can enter the realm? Not everyone can reach the upside down. Will is taken, but he senses it even afterward. Joyce hears him through the walls. 11 opens gates at will. Why them? Because in magical theory, only those who have experienced trauma, transformation, or psychic sensitivity * can pierce the veil. The veil between worlds is thin, but it only opens to those energetically attuned. That's why the government tried so hard to harness 11. In magical traditions, it's what's known as apotropaic magic, rituals and symbols designed to deflect harm and ward off spirits. And this is exactly what 11 does. Key scene. 11 closes the gate, Season 2, Episode 9, The Gate. Let's examine one of the most crucial magical moments in the series. 11 confronts the gate. It's wide open, a living wound between dimensions. She steps forward, focuses. Her left hand reaches outward, palm toward the portal, fingers rigid, extended. Her body lifts into the air. She screams in agony and fury. The upside down screams back, but more than that, it's a banishment ritual. And her gesture mirrors the Hamsa perfectly. Her raised hand becomes a symbolic stop sign to evil, a psychic firewall. The evil eye, and 11's psychic reversal. In folk traditions, the evil eye is a curse cast through a glance, malice made manifest, but the Hamsa is used to reflect it, to send the curse back to its source. 11's gesture isn't just an attack. It's a defensive counterspell, taking evil, rage, trauma, and reversing its flow. In Season 3, she uses the same palm-forward gesture to rip the Mind Flayer's tendrils from her leg. To repel and destroy the invasion inside her body. And in Season 4, we see her do it again, when she reawakens her powers and faces Vecna remotely in the sensory deprivation tank. The raised hand. The push. It's always the hand first. Not the scream. Not the mind. The gesture leads the magic. Energy flows through the palm. In Kai-based systems like Reiki, Qigong, and Hindu mudras, the palm is believed to channel life force energy. When 11 focuses her intent through her hand, she's doing exactly what ancient magical systems have practiced for thousands of years. Her palm becomes a sigil. A magical gate in reverse, not one that opens dimensions, but one that closes them. 9. The Witch ascends. 11 as a living sigil. After 4 seasons of trauma, loss, and power, 11 finally stands not just as a character, but as a living symbol. Every movement she makes, every gesture she repeats, every trauma she survives has shape has form has ritual function. 11 is a living sigil, the very embodiment of magic made flesh. A sigil is a spell made visible. In chaos magic, a sigil is a symbol of intention, a visual design infused with meaning, energy, and will. But the most powerful sigils? They aren't drawn on paper. They're embodied. A dancer becomes a ritual glyph. A warrior's scars form a protection symbol. A psychic's gestures, like 11's hand thrust, become moving runes. Every time 11 bleeds from the nose, screams into the void, reaches with her hand, shuts her eyes and enters darkness. She performs a * repeating sigil sequence. Her powers as a weapon. Magic, at its core, is intention made real. And 11, weaponized, becomes a channel for power. This isn't just sci-fi. It's the witch's path, into spiritual power. And like witches of myth, she finds herself, she returns. And she ascends stronger than before. So the next time you see 11 raise her hand, when the lights flicker, when the darkness presses in, ask yourself, are you just watching a show? Or are you taking part in a ritual far older than Hawkins, Indiana? Quote, The Witchcraft of 11, a ritual hidden in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more deep occult breakdowns of modern media. Leave it in the comments if you felt the spell.